Dr. Mika, what can we do to be known as a college or faculty who demonstrate cultural humility?
I think for me, the number one thing is to openly prioritize our commitment to developing culture of humility by one, creating a formal training to which everyone must complete annually, very much like our ethics training, and two, making that self-exploration or that discovery mandatory for all faculty, meaning going beyond the Sharps requirement to attend some event, but require accountability for exploration and participation. And as I said in my introduction, in the SOC, we have the Faculty Cultural Humility Group that we're doing, but that might also mean, some required sessions with the D&I ambassadors.
Now, Kathy Cooley, what are some of the things you think we can do to prepare our students to demonstrate cultural humility in the academic and professional environment?
I think it starts with living it out, right? So as we role model that for our students and are curious about them, we begin to empower them. We begin to take them under our wings and provide opportunities for them. And they're watching us, they're learning from us on how to do that with our students, with our faculty, with our colleagues, with our community. And I think there's a level of personal accountability too. Are we staying accountable to challenging some of the barriers that we have institutionally? So,
Dana Marie, in your work, thank you, Kathy, in your work with our students, how have you handled resistance to developing in this way?
Well, one of the things in terms of handling resistance, I like to get their buy-in and find out what their resistance is. Their vision is regarding their education. And I share a story with them, and it kind of breaks down the walls. I said, I share that I've noticed my own tendencies and habits over the years and how life happens. And when I was getting my dissertation, and it's almost like I would pick up a shovel and start digging, and as though I could dig my way out of my circumstances and my problems with the dissertation. And then I looked up and I saw that it kept getting deeper and deeper. And then one day I realized, like, my shovel, as I call it, was limited, and in terms of my available knowledge and my skill set. And so then I realized that my instructor was there to help me and to be my advocate. And that's how I share with my students that I'm there to help them so-called pick up their shovel, redefine their shovel, and help them move forward in the process.
Okay. Thank you for that, Dana Marie. Gina, some of our faculty are developing in this area themselves. When you think about that, how do you advise a faculty member who's trying to gain more self-awareness themselves so that they can foster the kinds of cultural humility we want our students to start developing in our students?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I do think I'm a big believer in modeling and helping faculty to connect that, we teach really through example. And I don't know that this is really something you get from the textbooks. It's, there's the definition, but then how do you apply it? And so I think, it's stepping into some discomfort. Being able to be vulnerable and admit when you've made mistakes or when you've been challenged, and to help students see how to challenge yourself and work through some of those feelings in order to be engaged with the clients that we work with.
Thank you. Thank you. Nina, I want to bring you into the conversation because I've worked with you a long time, and I know you've had a variety of roles with the organization, and you've worked with faculty at different places. When you are working with a junior faculty member or a faculty member who hasn't really stopped to think about how they're working to support the development of the professional and academic development of a diverse group of students, how do you coach them through a process of being better in that way?
I'm loving this idea of calling in, since I actually am good at doing both calling in and calling out. And so one of the things I have to be mindful of when I'm working with faculty is what I'm doing. The first thing I do is focus on awareness and getting a sense from the faculty member about what they think happened, right? Or how they're viewing their students in the classroom, or how they're viewing Walden, and get the sense from them about, where they came from, what their exposure had been before. I think that's very helpful for me to have the context before I start to sort of talk about, here's where we are and here's what we're looking for. And so it's sort of related to Greg's thought about the relationship, right? So I'm trying to develop a relationship with the faculty I'm working with, because I think with relationships, it makes everything easier. And then it's really talking about my own experiences in mentoring and working with diverse populations. I think the culturally humble idea, while not all of us have that particular language we've used in our own lives, maybe we demonstrate the concepts in our focus. So I'm talking about, with all the training I've had, all the work I've done, teaching and research and so forth, there are certainly blind spots I have that I'm working on. And so I will sometimes talk with faculty about those, because again, as was mentioned, I think Tamika might have also mentioned that and Dana Marie, it's hard to demonstrate your discomfort, right? You don't want to come off as faculty as looking like this, or or worse, you're racist, and you're oblivious, your privilege is all there, and you're not seeing any of it. And so I think it's helpful to model. None of us are at the pinnacle, right? We're all learning. And so just like I'm learning, here are some things that I think will be very helpful for you. Or, have you considered that this might be what's going on with the student? Or what do you think is happening right now with the students in your classroom, considering what's going on out here? And so sort of giving the faculty, both through my modeling as well as context, some ways to get more comfortable and become more open to learning. So that's typically how I approach things.
Thank you so much, Nina. I think that it's really important, and it's something that we have to think about, because I will tell you, when I came to this environment, I was a little guilty, having been in, at that point, maybe 15 years of being in what we refer to as the traditional university environments, brick and mortar, where there was a lot of engagement around faculty, staff, around these topics. I made the assumption when I came here that maybe that was the experience of everybody who converged in the organization, and it's just not the case. And as we have more and more people who are being trained in distance education environments, where the focus on student development in this way has not traditionally been the same as what you find in brick and mortar institutions, we have to always do a knowledge check, understanding check, attitude check, to be clear about, where people stand on things.